All right. Check it out. Welcome back to the Coastal Federation channel. Thanks everybody for being flexible. We're going to do a lighter version today of Bitcoin price analysis and altcoin price analysis as well. I got to keep this one a little shorter, hopefully. Usually when I say that, it goes even longer, but we'll take a look. So what we have on Bitcoin is we did get that whale trap. It is looking very similar to multiple previous whale traps interacting with the daily 21 in some way, shape, or form. Either rejection over it or a strong failure pattern above it. Sometimes it holds up there, sometimes it's just a liquidity grab straight up, straight down, and that's what we got once again. So hopefully, one thing I feel good about is having been among the few people out there who specifically right before it happened let you know this is about ready to happen and it could be fast. And this is the area where you want to be looking, and it went straight up. It essentially went between my two targets, and it went up to about $250 higher than the top of my first target. So it went in an awkward space, but hopefully you felt prepared for this. Hopefully you didn't get burned by trying to short when it was when things were looking like they were getting ready to go straight down. So hopefully my videos have been helpful, and what I'm going to try to do in this video is I don't think that I have the best clue right now what is going to happen in the very micro sense, okay? There is really not a lot of edge, but what I can do here is I can give you the three most likely things I can see happening over the next 14 days or so, and then we can roll with that. And as price moves along these 14 days, we can start removing two of the three options, and then taking that first option and then making our own top three most probable more finite and more specific within. So that's what I'm going to try to accomplish in this video here is just more of a midterm or small slash midterm time frame, not quite micro time frame. We're going to try to give you some price paths that could end up happening, and I'll explain when the thresholds on when one or the other becomes more probable than the others. Are you ready? Let's go get it. All right, we are looking at some bare naked price right now. And get my streaming stuff up and running. All right, bare naked price. I think I need to throw on my origin lines. I will probably go to the 4-hour chart on Bitcoin. And let's get a sense of what's going on here. My origin lines are more of a macro picture, but when you zoom into them, it helps guide me in determining what are the realm of possibilities slash probabilities on a midterm time frame, midterm time frame type of perspective. So staring at this and knowing in general, these are support and resistance lines. Bitcoin has gone under this origin line, bull trap above it, went back below. Let's zoom in. Used it as resistance, made lower local low, and is trying to come back up towards it. So what I'm seeing here is I really don't see Bitcoin getting back over this line for more than a daily, maybe one daily closure for a fake out, because the closures now are being utilized by hedge fund or whoever these whales are. They're leaving footprints, right, and where they're walking. So I feel that closures. I'm a little too bright because it's nighttime out. All right, that's a little dark. Closures, traditionally are a way to have a more assurance or confidence or edge in a trade, but now they're just used to fake you out. So I could see a one-day closure above this line here, but I don't know. Midterm, I don't really see much more happening, unless and if something does get above here, above 21K and it holds, that means there is a chance that something macro is changing, and that instantly increases the chances that this 17.5 down here in June. It increases the chances drastically that was the bottom. Drastically, right? But just a small So even this big move above the line, it went straight back below. So it could be more than a couple days, but I have an opinion here that it is probable Bitcoin won't play above 21K for very long over the next 14 days. General observation, just looking at it this way, bare naked price with macro origin lines. Does that make sense? All right. And if this is used as support, unlike this last bull trap, so if we zoom in here, I'm on the 4-hour, let me even go to like the 15-minute chart. Even when it came down here, it couldn't use this guy as support. You see that? It just fell, boom, boom. Yeah, I guess it used it. It bounced on it a few times, and boom, fell right through. Then boom, flipped it to resistance. Then boom. So on the 15-minute time frame, it initially did not try to, fell below, failure pattern, rejection, failure pattern, rejection, a long rejection, and then came right below. And again, this line I've had on this chart for like 2 years, right? And see how price just played with it like this? I mean, this line is real. Other people don't have this line, but for whatever reason, this line gives it gets right what algorithms are doing. I don't know how it works, actually. I still don't know. To this day, I don't know why these lines work. All I care is that they do work. But someday I wish I will figure out why they work, though. maybe it's because the whales are watching my videos. I don't know. It's definitely not it. All right. It could be, though. I don't know. All right. Second observation, let's put on a macro channel. This, and let me go to the 4-hour chart. This, what we're staring at here, goes back to the 69K top, as you've seen me do on my channel a lot. So this is the 69K top. It's been in one channel the whole time outside of 1, 2 bull traps. So let's zoom into the bull traps. 1, 2. All right. And now a third. Now that the price came, now let's zoom way back in now that we know what we're looking at on a macro time frame. Let's go to the 15-minute chart. Look at how it nailed that. So it got above this, used it as support, made a higher low, blasted off, came straight back to this channel, right? It's not a horizontal, so this is a descending line, right? Descending. So horizontals won't get this accuracy. I promise you that Bitcoin does use horizontals, but it uses even more a horizontal channel that's tilted one way or another, either a bullish tilt or a bearish tilt. It moves on it more perfectly, I promise. Although straight up horizontals do work, but they don't work as well. All right, so this is the top of the macro channel. Because it came down and used this as support, higher low, and breaking. So look at the anatomy of this on the 15-minute chart. Used it as support, made a high, higher low, higher high. Even though the 15-minute chart only bears a moderate amount of weight, it is greatly increasing the chance that a move up to 21K, a higher high than this, actually, it really could happen. It's setting the stage that use this as support. Okay, you can come back up in here and get rejected by 21K. That's fine. It could easily happen. So 21K, even though I feel that Bitcoin won't play above it very long over the next 14 days, so I'm about ready to say something kind of the opposite. I don't feel that Bitcoin will play above it very much over the next 14 days. But as of now, it looks, there is strong evidence that Bitcoin's going to want to try to go touch it. As weird as that sounds. So, yeah, it looks like it's going to be gravitating towards it, but then bump its head on it. That's kind of what it looks like. Does that make sense? The point in which I would take 21K off the table is when price gets trapped back under here. It's that simple. So draw this freaking channel. Like that's when it's off the table. Literally. It is that simple. But until that happens, it's on the table. So let me go to the 4-hour chart. And so this is not my micro channel. This is my macro channel. And this is the 69K top right here. So you can pause the video and try to, let me make myself invisible here. Harry Potter. Activate. And there you go. Try to make it similar to that. And the top channel line is very important. That happens in late March, all through early May. Late March to early May is how you can make. So if you don't want to make the whole channel, just the top line, just take late March to early May, draw a line through there, okay, at the top, and just realize there are 2 bull traps where price does go over it. Does that make sense? All right. Let's see here. And I'm still invisible, so let's get this off. All right. And that is when 21K gets off the table. But until price comes back below here, price has a few options. Go all the way up here or chop around, or it could just ride down this line. So it's going to be interesting to see over the next 14 days what Bitcoin is doing in this large triangle right here. But it looks like it's going to play in that area. And I don't freaking know what it's going to do. And I don't think you do either. I don't think anybody does. The micro time frames right now, there isn't very much of an edge. Although I was able to let you know the day before that it's getting ready to pop up, and then what? What did I specifically say? What was my specific guess? And then come back to where it was. That's exactly what happened. I don't think we're going to see much continuation quite yet, either way. Which means you don't have much of an edge on any moves outside of playing the 5 minute to 30-minute charts. So if you're playing 5 minutes, yeah, you can always find edges. Like I gave my Discord an alert. It's getting ready to fly about 30 minutes before it happened. So you had a strong edge to the upside. I wasn't at my computer to trade small time frames. I didn't take the trade. I just let everybody else know who wanted to. And I gave them reasons why with my what I call short-term time frame ribbons. So there's almost always an edge on very micro time frames. That's why they're so awesome to play. Instead of swing trading or playing daily or 4-hour candles and all that stuff. 4-hour candles, really, you can't make too many trades in a week. But so outside of micro time frames, there's not a whole lot of edge, on hour and plus charts, hour to 4-hour charts. It's really hard to tell. And any edge that you have on the micro time frame, the shelf life is micro. So yeah, that edge will play out a lot, over 50%, but then it's over. Like the move is done because the shelf life is so small, right, on the micro, which means the short-term time frames, there's not really much of an edge. But on the micro time frames, you often see edges. I want to be specific with how I'm saying that. Because there's almost always something to trade on the micro time frames. Unless Bitcoin does something like this and stays within a 1% range for or 1.5% range for 3 days, then even on the micro time frames, it's hard to trade. All right, so now let's go to try to find something on a different chart. I'm going to put on my micro channel. And this line is a little bit different. However, I do put more weight on the macro line, which I think I have drawn on here. Yeah, it's a little bit lower. So what this micro channel is saying is that it did not use this as support, and it looks like it's going to get trapped in this channel again, and then eventually maybe. So where is my macro channel line? So I drew the macro channel line. Yeah, here it is. That orange line. There's the orange line. How I am going to view things is for once, I don't do this very often. I don't use a channel within a channel. But to be super specific about stuff and to really, to try to figure out my edges on small/micro time frames, if price gets trapped under this top of the micro channel, so did you see what that looked like when I zoomed out on the 1 hour? Right here. So that's what we're working with. So if it gets stuck under that micro channel line, I still think Bitcoin has a chance to hold this as support, and honestly, this line must be too low because on the other one it came down to it. There we go. It has a chance to use this as support because on the other chart, that was the top of the channel line. Does that make sense? So even if it gets stuck under here, I give precedent to the larger macro channel, and I would say, okay, just because it's stuck on here doesn't mean it's going to tank because it still has this line here. But once it gets under this line, yes, it becomes more neutral ground. So anything's, there is no edge either way. And once, but there is a decent edge that you're going to get a bounce of some form here. But once it goes under this line and gets stuck, then your edge to the downside is strong for more than a micro time frame move, like maybe continuation down. But I don't think you have an edge on continuation down under this line. But I think you do under this line, right? So I'm almost anticipating that Bitcoin won't go back under this line, this orange line, for a while. It could be 5 days, it could be 3 days, but I don't think it's going to happen in the next day or two. I think it's going to be several days, and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. So these are the three things that I'm looking at. It's mostly structural analysis, but I'm going to give you the three EMAs that you can add onto here to like get super finite. Is the origin line that I showed at the beginning, the top of, so that's one. That's ultra macro, like big poop macro, like the biggest poop of your life macro. So, but and then the macro channel, going back to the 69K top, the top of that channel, and then the top of my micro channel line. Those are the three structural things that I'm looking at because they mean a lot. They have a lot of meaning because that's where buyers and sellers pivot on a dime. Whoever was defending that line as a buyer, if it goes under it, they flip to being a seller instantly, and it causes price to move, right? So those structural analysis are big pivot points. Now, if you aren't into all that structural analysis and you want a different guide, or you just want additional guides that move, then what I suggest putting on your chart is my favorite, like the most important single indicator in all of Bitcoin price, which is where the hell? Oh, here it is, the weekly 10 EMA. It's going to be hard for Bitcoin to get above there. But if it races up, that could be where it's going. So this is your upper, kind of limits there. To the downside, I believe it's the daily 10. That's the middle. So in the middle of your range, so create an EMA range. Top of the EMA range is weekly 10. Middle of the EMA range is the daily 21. And maybe that's not a good one to use. I was honestly going to say the daily 10. So the EMAs are giving me a little bit different information here. This is actually a lot more bearish than my structural analysis. Let's take this off. But also, right now, I'm getting freaking stressed out by one of my dogs outside barking. I don't know what it's saying or what she's saying, but it's... when I'm done with this Bitcoin portion on the stream, I'm going to freaking stand up and put her inside. Oh my god, dogs barking drive me freaking crazy. I can't take it. Just can't take it. It really makes my blood boil. Constant dog barking, right? Woo! All right, here we go. I need to label this bad boy, though. Yeah, I guess I'll just take it back. Weekly 20 or daily 21. This is giving a little. I thought Bitcoin was above the daily 10 though, but it's not. So this is given a little bit different info here. You might honestly need to use this in conjunction with the structural stuff. At least the one macro line, the macro top of the channel. So if you're more of an EMA person, this is saying that it is going to go test that the top of the macro channel, which is roughly, let's just say like this, because it went below the EMA, the EMA range, and it looks like it's going to get rejected from it and try to test this again. So until the daily 10, until price gets over the daily 10 EMA, or what you might use instead is the 1 hour 200. This is my second favorite EMA in crypto. It works on almost all altcoins too, because it's the daily 10. The daily 10 is highly traded. But until Bitcoin gets above the 1 hour 200 EMA, the pressure on micro timeframes will be down. And again, that could change at any time. Next hour could close above, then you're going to enter back in the EMA channel. So top of the range being top of the EMA range, weekly 10, bottom daily 10, middle daily 21. But it looks like right now, the only thing that to stare at on the ultra super micro timeframes is a triangle between the top of the macro channel and below the daily 10. Until it's out of this channel, You don't need to look at anything, or this triangle. There's nothing else to look at. But once it breaks above this triangle, then you can apply two different types of analyses. You can use all EMAs and realize bottom, top, middle, or then my other analysis with the big triangle using the origin line up to 21K, then that comes into play. But right now, the only thing in play, like what is trapping price, is the top of that macro channel, daily 10. Until price is above or below one of those, this is the only space that's the only thing in play. Like literally, you only need to look at two things until it breaks out of there. Does that make sense? All right. And let's go ahead and throw on, let me go to the other chart and put on these EMAs where I have the macro channel so it's easier to freaking see. I should have done that from the beginning. So here's that big triangle I was talking about earlier, right? And over the next 2 weeks, I'm not for sure how Bitcoin's going to fall in here. But what I can say is that what is specifically in play right now is the top of this macro channel. Is that the right thing? That's not the right thing. No. The top of the macro channel with the daily 10. So price is above there. Really? This is all you need to look at because this is the only thing in play. These are the only two items that are going to create price to pivot or to create buyers to come in and buy harder or to create sellers to to make sellers pivot to sell harder or flip buyers into sellers, which creates more sell pressure. Until one of this is broken, price is just going to float around. All right. And this is until the quarterly close. I don't know if this is going to be a very good trading environment. So if you're, I mean, hell, even me, I think I'm done for a while. I don't think I'm going to trade futures for a little bit. It's getting the order book and the volume is clearly dried up, and it's just algos pissing around with price. And you can't. It actually is impossible over time to profitably as a human being. So unless you program your own smart bot, then it is. But as a human, it is not humanly possible to profitably trade against straight up algo movement, smart algo movement over time. You can't do it. And I feel that even though this might not be straight up algo movement from hedge funds, it's very close to it because there's no retail / institutional investing buy pressure. So everything that's buying and selling is just the bots. And it's really low volume right now until S&P really floods down and then retail and institutions are selling, then there's going to be a great trend down. But right now, the trend is this is algos playing circus games. And you're probably going to get, unless you catch a nice shape like this, okay, that I've covered on my channel on micro time frames, in and out of trades. Like you're only in the trade for several hours. You don't hold trades overnight. So I gave my whole community, actually, not just VIPs, I just let them know it's getting ready to go up now. So if you see something like that, okay, I would probably take that trade, but I would specifically not want to stay in it for more than 8 hours or something to that effect, or even 4 hours. Outside of those exceptions, it's not a great time to be trading, particularly if you're new to this. Horrible time to try to do it these weeks. So if you're newer, save your money. If you're more into this and you have more than 500 trades under your belt, I would suggest very, very small time frames, enter and exit trades, and before you go to sleep, it's probably a good idea to be out and not have to be done with your trades, have taken profit, or just to have taken a small loss. Just don't hold it open overnight and don't have open orders close to price where you could enter a trade while you're sleeping. Because that's actually what I did last night. I entered a trade, so I was trying to catch a failure pattern above here, but it went even higher and booted me out, and I lost money. So sleeping, right? It went awkwardly $250 over my failure pattern target. I was expecting it to come above here, about like this or a little higher. But it went even higher than that. It was an awkward one. It really was. But it went to where there were stops and liquidation points. So, means it's just algos looking up the order book and perhaps even having its bots look up the order book. So it's going to be hard to trade, and that's my suggestion to new traders. Just freaking don't do anything right now. Take paper trades, and if you are 500 trades under your belt and you need to keep golf swing going, be in and out of your trades and don't hold stuff open overnight. You're gonna get your money will be taken. Is what I'm saying. This is the algo's time to shine. Let them do their thing and don't let them take your money from you until a nice trend has formed and it gets continuation and there's more than just the thin order book being eaten up by bots. Okay. All right. So that's Bitcoin, and I'm going to take this dog and oh my god, I gotta stand up. So I will give me about 15 seconds. Don't go. I'll be right back. Oh my god, what are you barking at? Okay. Whew. Whew. Yeah, dogs are interesting creatures. They're the only creatures that undeniably love humans. But I mean, sometimes I really question: are the cons the cons add up? They're loud, they're dirty, disgusting, which is different than dirty. Loud, dirty, disgusting. Disgusting means like eating poop, right? And destructive. Dirty, disgusting, destructive, and loud. Like those four things hold a lot of weight just to have an animal that loves humans unconditionally. I don't know. It's a hard sell for me, especially when I have four kids that are also loud, dirty, destructive, and disgusting. It's like I don't need any more of that stuff. Yeah, dogs are a lot like kids. They really are, actually. Whew, and I got four of them, so I just, man, I just don't know. Now, if I didn't have four kids, it wouldn't bother me as much, but I just have so much noise and dirty and disgusting and sticky stuff around me as it is. I don't need any more of it. Especially the noise. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was definitely a dog person until I had four kids, but now I appreciate the silence of cats so much. Oh my gosh. Whew. All right. Anyway. And I always used to wonder, as a dog person previous to four kids, I always wonder why I saw so many Reddit posts about people saying, why do Americans love dogs so much? They're dirty, they're this and that, they cause me anxiety. Americans are so weird, right? Because we're the dog nation globally, and on a percentage basis of people being owners of dogs and how many dogs per owner on both metrics. And I never understood it until I had four kids. I was like, I know, I understand where they're coming from. Oh, all right. Maybe I'll like dogs better when I'm 50 something and I don't have kids in my house. All right, here we go. All right, rant over. Let's get it. Yeah, I'm not gonna pull a wizard hat out this time. It's too choppy. But I am giving you two things to look at. This top of the macro channel integral, right? As long as it's above, it has permission to go to 21K. When it's below, used as a resistance, then we're looking at down targets. But I'm not looking at down targets until that's taken out. But there's a lot of wiggle room over here, right? But I don't want to guess what's going to happen because it's almost like trying to give a kid a big poster paper and guess, where they're going to draw. Because it's a big paper, right? We have a big paper. I don't want to make the guess. The paper's too big. But if you give a kid a post-it, or like a 3x5 card, it's easier to identify and make a guess to predict where or how much the kid will fill it up or whatever. And just right now, I don't like the canvas we're working with. I can't see it. But I do know the thresholds on when we can start seeing things. That's the important thing. And I promise you, I've made standalone. So what I'm about to say is really important. I made standalone videos on this, but I know they don't get a lot of attraction. But it is so valuable to know when you don't have an edge. That concept is so valuable. And honestly, the times I've gotten my butt kicked the most this year, outside of trying to set a stop on my way to the gym, when curve went up 20% in 30 minutes on my way to the gym, outside of that one mistake I made, that mistake, the hardest I've gotten my butt kicked this entire year have been when, under that condition, I did not quickly identify that I didn't have a good edge. It's very, very valuable. Even as a person who knows how valuable that is, being conscious about it. I'm not claiming conscious competence necessarily, because I could clearly, I leave a lot to be desired in there. No one's perfect at it, right? It's hard to tell, oh, my edge is gone. But what I'm saying here is I can quickly identify, I'm letting you know there's not an edge until one of these things happens, particularly to the downside. To the upside, I mean, yeah, you start getting a little bit more edge when the daily 10 is used as support. Then you have an edge, maybe not all the way up to the weekly 10, but you have an edge for this move. So let's so daily 10 to daily 21, that's a 2.5% move on higher leverage. That's a play. Like, you have an edge for that. But once you get there, then your edge is gone again because you're in the middle. Like, you don't really want to open trades in the middle of what range you're working with. So your edge is instantly gone. And that's what I was talking about earlier, the shelf life. So you can always have edges on micro time frames, but your edge dissipates very quickly, like neutrinos, or, well, that's too nerdy. I can't even think of a non-scientific example. I can't think of it. I can only think of like just weird chemistry and physics type of stuff. But anyway, so let's so I don't think there's much of an edge right now. I cannot stress it enough. I cannot stress how valuable it is. I know it's boring, but it is so valuable to understand that. And I think it's also valuable to know when you do start having edge and how long the edge will last. All right, here we go. It's bad to be decision long term. All right, so Kate, yeah, I don't know if I want to do a lot of altcoins today, folks. All right, is it bad to be in a position for the long term, specifically shorting the top of the bull run and riding it to the bottom, or vice versa? Can you explain pros and cons? I'm talking about a year or more. That's a good question, Papa Longballs. Yeah, so when you are able to short near a top or long near a bottom, the funding rates do go back and forth. So it's not like it'll always, necessarily always subtract from your count. Sometimes you get paid to hodl your longs or paid to hodl your shorts. So if you truly do get into a swing or a macro trade on leverage, yeah, hold it. But the key is you will have tried so many times before you actually hit it. Like, you don't just hit it and say, oh, there it is. Like, that doesn't happen. So for example, when you hit that, just realize your journey to finally getting that position is, I'm shorting. Oh, I got stopped out. Okay, there's another high. Or, oh, it makes a lower high and I get scared out and I'm barely in profit or something like that, right? So you have to try so many times to do that. And the fact is, the moment you hit it for that long move, you actually don't know in that moment. You don't know until it never stops you out, or it never goes lower, or it never goes higher. So the question, that question, yeah, if you could look back, sure, it actually is fine to hold those. But the key is, should you be trying right now? I don't think you should. Because you got to try a lot. And there is no, like, on the midterm timeframes, there's no clear trend. So, but that wasn't why you asked. You asked, is it okay to do it if you were to have caught something from the top? Yeah, it's absolutely fine. And if I had shorted above 64K, I would still be, and I found myself right here, right now, I would still hold it. Absolutely. Now, I wouldn't hold it down to like 9,600. I would probably close it at between 14 to 15. Even if it were to eventually go to 6K, I wouldn't try to take it that low. But I would hold it for one more lower low, personally. That's not financial advice. Hypothetically, if I were in a short position from above 64K. All right. Hopefully that answers your question. All right. Good, Adrian. Yeah, I had a lot of people trade this move right with my my either my free YouTube content or my Discord stuff. Actually, multiple Discord people let me know they traded it really right. And I personally, I traded it wrong. But I haven't been giving out very many or really any trading alerts at all because the market's a little too choppy. But I'm glad that my TA and just giving general levels without the strategy on how to make money from it is helping people a lot. And really, that money you don't lose is money you've earned as well. That's a hard thing to appreciate as well, because a lot of people might have been shorting back here, right, or before this, and I was back here. And I was like, it's getting ready to spike up. So I've also saved people a lot of money as well. With just TA with no price with no trading alerts. Yeah, I don't feel comfortable giving trading alerts right now because first off, I'm not trading well enough. Honestly, this shit. I mean, look behind me. This shit's hard to trade. Like who the fuck wants to trade this? I'm really to the point where like I might move my money to Forex to trade. Crypto is not a good place to trade right now unless it's Luna or Luna Classic. That's the only place where it's retail driven. Yeah, it's way better to trade the retail driven stuff than it is this crap. This is not easy. This is not easy to trade. And I'm taking that. I'm serious about that. By next week, I might have most of my personal / public account money for active futures trading, not in crypto. Not permanently, but just until crypto gets continuation or it's clear or it's not just bot shit. But Forex right now is where it's at. Big time. But by the time I move my money over there, it might be done with that, right? That idea might be over. However, it's still worth a try. Okay. All right, let's do Kadena real fast. Let's do a quick Kadena price analysis. I will try to keep this 8 minutes or less because I kind of want to go watch some Star Trek. Here we are. My brain is not working. There we go. Let's do a short analysis on Kadena, KDA. Are you ready for some KDA? Hopefully, because y'all always ask about it. All right. The EMAs in play on Bitcoin, I just left on here. So it actually right now is in line with where Bitcoin is compared to these EMAs. Bitcoin is below its daily 10 or its 2 hour or 1 hour 200 EMA. So right now, Kadena's hanging on. It's not now. Did Kadena get this big move above the yellow line or the daily 21? No, but on Bitcoin's move down, Kadena actually outperformed Bitcoin from a structural / EMA standpoint. Maybe its move down on a percentage basis was bigger, but from a structural / EMA standpoint, it underperformed Bitcoin on the move up, but on Bitcoin's way down, Kadena outperformed it on those two metrics, EMA metric / structural metric. And on a percentage metric, yeah, Bitcoin went down 7%. Damn, so KDA actually, so KDA versus Bitcoin recently has been going up. At least on the micro type, yeah. So from here to here, it went up. It gained on Bitcoin. That's kind of it. So that means KDA wants to hold this level. This is being defended heavily. So that's my first observation. Just I accidentally kept the same EMAs on. I can keep this one right here on. I can keep these. Yeah, so I will keep these two on. So what's in play for Kadena right now are the daily 21, which is yellow. Daily. So this is what you want as a KDA fan. You need three things. Daily 21 EMA. And I'm on the let's go to I'm just on the 30-minute chart, but I have the daily 21 on. The daily 10, which I like to use the 1 hour 200 EMA, which is the same thing in crypto if something's 24/7. It's just smoother. I like it better. So daily 21, daily 10, and this horizontal made by these 2 points, okay? So just create a freaking rectangle where the bottom is this number and the top is that number, you don't need anything else on KDA right now. Honestly, even from an indicator standpoint, because your bullish divergences or this or that, they're going to peter out at the daily 21. So you're going to be able to see it with just price action. Like your indicators you don't need indicators for this yet. You really don't. As hard as that is to believe, and I used to really rely on indicators and everything makes sense because of indicators, but this is technically an indicator, so is this. It's a exponential moving average. But anything that's saying, oh, it's going to go to the moon, no, that will take it to the daily 21 and its shelf life will dissipate. It'll expire. But once it finally breaks out of there, yeah, okay, then your indicators for a continuation above there, they might start making a lot of sense. Or indicators for a continuation below this point will also start making sense. But right now, I'm telling you, like, some of you who have been watching my KDA stuff, like, I've nailed this price action fairly regularly. And I'm saying, this is not financial advice at all. Actually, I'm not giving financial advice. Just this is interpretation type of, I'm suggesting how to interpret price action without suggesting any buys and sells or actions taken. But guessing on which directions price is going to go in. These are your 3 tools you need. Horizontal box, though, a box specifically. Daily 10, daily 21. Now, where this starts getting concerning is when the top and bottom start interacting. So take off the daily 10. So where price is going to really, really, really start moving is if you get in a squeeze like this, and this daily 21 right here starts going blah, 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 and interacts with this guy. So this is the bottom of the 3 things we were using. This is the top of the 3 things we're using. So essentially our play range, it's not a technical range, but it's our play range. But when the top of the play range starts interacting with the bottom of the play range, it's like francium and water. Right? Well, that's another nerdy thing. It explodes right in that column of the. It'll cause an explosion. I'm pulling out the nerdy references today. Jeez. So. And this is where things are going to heat up. If you see KDA price go sideways till October 2nd, I mean, you're going to expect some fireworks. And the very first move, if it's up, it could be a fake out and then come straight back down. So it doesn't guarantee mono-directional volatility. It just means it's going to start moving. It could be mono-directional, or it could go bam, boom, 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 boom. It could start moving. A fire fire's flames don't have to dance in one direction. If in an open fire, it doesn't, right? There are ways you can make that happen, but in an open fire, just a normal campfire, they dance. They can go either way. It's not monodirectional. Does that make sense? But so I'm not saying monodirectional volatility. I'm just saying it's about ready to get really volatile. It cannot go sideways much longer. It literally can't. Buyers and too many things will come in play shortly. So this is like in 4 to 6 days. So there's something pretty big getting ready to happen. So KDA price is getting ready to get really exciting. What else? Yeah, but until it happens, this is all you're staring at. You just need those 3 things. And to the upside, if Bitcoin really does separate from the stock market here, which it's not near probable yet, but the ingredients are stacking up and the bottom's in, it's again, not my main guess. It's not even probable yet, but the ingredients are starting to brew. Does that make sense? 15, 20% chance, right? Because Bitcoin's it is outperforming the stock market for like 37 days now, and its outperformance is beginning to accelerate, which I would love for it to finally separate from it, but that would also mean the bottom's in, which I don't want to happen. So I'm in a catch-22 there. But anyway, so if Bitcoin were to make some weird move up, improbable at this time, then what's in play is here, or the weekly. Then you would throw on the weekly 10. That would be in play. That would be the next thing. But until that happens, it's not in play. Don't even think about it. These are the 3 things you're going to be looking at, and KDA is going to get exciting in the next 4 to 5 days. It's going to get October 1st, 2nd, 3rd, somewhere around there, or September 30th, in those 4 or 5 days. it's gonna start making like 15-20% moves in a day. Not every day, but you're gonna have a day. Actually, let me backtest this. Let's see here, how big is this? 20 might be stretching it. Let me put on the daily candles. Let me give you a better estimate of some bigger candles here. Yeah, that's 25. Yeah, so yeah, 18 to 20% daily candles you're getting ready to see here. Maybe only 15, but you're going to have some 15 to 20% daily candles coming shortly. And it's going to be exciting. And I just gave you the 3 tools to use to figure out when that's going to happen. From a timing perspective. It's going to be soon. All right, that's KDA. Here we go. All right, DCF. What is the lowest point this year? You can see Kadena going to for this. Okay, lowest point, KDA 2022. So specifically time parameters. So I need to mark off. So your question is 50 cents in this calendar year. That's the lowest. Like if Bitcoin capitulates plus Russia like invades more and people are freezing, like homed people, the unhomed people in Europe and the United States freeze every year. That's it's unfortunate, right? But that's not out of the ordinary. But if you start having like, just black swan crap happen, it could go lower. But if a strong capitulation happened, not quite black swan, it would take a very strong capitulation, like down to 12K and fast, for this to happen. But that's another 65%. Yeah, so it'd take a pretty strong move. I think Bitcoin would have to fly past 14K and go leg down straight to 12 for 50 cents to happen. How probable is that? I don't know. Probably less than 25% probable. But I think that there's a single digit percentage chance that Bitcoin goes, or not Bitcoin, that KDA goes under 50 cents this calendar year. Is it that improbable for KDA to go under 50 cents 2023? No. But I think it's pretty improbable this calendar year, right? More reasonable guess? I mean, just look at this. Look at behind me. There you go. That would be, so after it falls below, yeah, it's probably going to fall below here. And I actually think it's probable that 80 to 85 cents is hit this year. I would say it's over 50% chance, but very low chance it goes below this, right? So these would be kind of my guesses there. Yeah, I got a lot of KDA fans on my live shows. But you all are not on Discord. You just hang out on your YouTube tier members. Okay, so I got a lot of tier members who are KDA fans. That's what it is. I have a lot of trading geeks who utilize, my Discord as a second pair of eyes. Like, what do you think? Like, sometimes they're in the trade, or sometimes they're getting ready to take the trade. A lot of people use me for that. And then I have a lot of altcoin geeks, / trading folks who want a second opinion on stuff. And then on YouTube tiers, I got a lot of KDA fans. Interesting how that works. All right, congrats, Tim. You said pop along balls without. I did say pop along balls without giggling. Yeah, I didn't even think about it. Probably because I was so irritated by dog barking, and I'm hungry. Like I was not for me. I was at an urgent care, then a freaking. Then a pharmacy, and I hadn't eaten, and my wife just brought me food. Like, I haven't eaten it yet, but I'm blowing blood sugar, and I was just irritated by a dog, so I probably wasn't in the mood to freaking laugh at it. All right. Okay, cool. Yeah, honestly, I probably got to get off of here, folks. I need to eat. I'm probably going to get really angry and do something stupid on camera, so... Not that it would be the first time, but I haven't done stuff like that in a while. So I will end this one. I will not guarantee I'll be on exactly at 6 p.m. or 6:01. Usually on at 6:01, but I plan to be back on at 6:01 and not have a hypochondriac. No, I don't think she's being a hypochondriac. I think something, yeah. But I plan not to be in urgent care and a pharmacy next Thursday. So I will see you Thursday, 6 p.m. New York, and Europeans. I'm sorry. No, well, yeah. If you're seeing the recording of this, sorry.